So yesterday, as you probably noticed, maybe my volume isn't great. Is that better? Hear me better now? Y'all hear me? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so yesterday, as you probably noticed, was it's a practice that's quite strong on the legs. And for the reasons I explained in terms of stimulating the bones and the blood, those essential activities of squatting, lunging, weight bearing, etc. So that's more, if you like, if you want to classify it in terms of strength or difficulty, it's more of like a yang style practice, right? Because it can be quite demanding. So that's one way of approaching the practice. And there's also the yin side, which is potentially less demanding. So we'll work with that aspect today. But also just to appreciate that within the yang, there is the yin, right? And within the yin, there is the yang. You can't separate the two. One bleeds into the other. And so within a practice like yesterday, hopefully some of the cues that you were given, whether it's through breathing through the jaw, the cue for the tongue, the longer exhalation, for example, these things are cues to internally soften, so that while the external shape or activity might be quite demanding or challenging on any given day, the internal quality can be soft. Attentive, but soft. So whether that's a focus on the tongue placement, the activity of the tongue, the focus of where the breath is coming from, how deep it's going, how long the exhalation is, etc. So it's important to note that while you're working with a strong physical practice, there is both the yin in the yang. And it's reflected more as we become more experienced and mature in the practice, that we have both aspects reflecting at all times, not just one, not just the other. Now, of course, there is styles of yoga called yin yoga or yang yoga, but they don't necessarily always quantify that there's both aspects. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's important to note that from the principles of soft and hard, from internal, external, up, down, back, front, opposing forces, there's always both qualities available at the same time. Okay? So today we'll do more of a yin practice from the outside. At points they may or may not feel that way, but that's the principle would be there'd be a little more a softer approach, so that you have both. If you have the energy to work strongly like we did yesterday, go for it. And if you feel like, well, I don't have that energy or that motivation, then we'll do a practice today that gives you the other side, if you like, so you can find the yang in the yin, as opposed to yesterday, which was finding the yin in the yang. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense. But when you work the practice, yesterday's and then today's separately, you'll start to notice the different qualities that arise, and maybe what's also important is to note our tendencies. Do we tend to rush ahead mentally or physically when we're asked to slow down? Or when we're really working slowly, do we want to speed up? And then what's our tendency within that framework? Because that's the practice, of course, is a mirror to reflect back at ourselves and see, okay, well, where am I with this? Where's my patterns, my conditioning? What's my driving force, my motivation? Can I just let the practice be the practice? And can I allow the qualities of that practice to rise to the surface without trying to impose my own agenda that might be based on my expectations of what I'm supposed to be doing? Could be based on a whole lot of different beliefs and conditions that rise to the surface when you start to go a little deeper. Yeah. So we'll start slowly. We'll bring ourselves up onto the legs, work on the legs without asking too much of them, and then come back down towards the floor, so that you have an approach that follows the same basic format but has a different quality. Okay, that's the main thing. And it's important to have some of those tools in your armory of yoga elements that you can go to when you need it. Yeah, if you don't have the energy or the time or the motivation, then you can play around with what is necessary at any given moment, and that's of course a version of what it means to be an adept, what it means to be adaptable to any given situation with the tools that you have. Okay, so we shall begin when you're ready on your back. So just lie in Shavasana. Have your blanket, your strap, any of your props that you might need fairly handy. You don't have to go around the room looking for them. So just lie on your back with your legs straight. You can let your arms rest by your sides with your palms up. If you can keep your socks on, the top on, because we'll be here for a couple minutes, so if it's cool in your room, then make sure you're still warm enough. So just take a moment to just stop. I'd ask you to scan your body from the top of your head down to your toes. Like a photocopier, just scanning down the body without any judgments or criticism. Just observe the feeling of the body on the floor, any obvious familiar niggles or aches. Just to pay attention to how the body feels, that you are, part of you is a body. You have a body. I'm saying hello, checking in. And then asking yourself to have no expectations of yourself today. I have no expectations of this body. To accept, I accept this body, with acceptance for yourself, the challenges, the limitations, the struggles. I accept myself as I am completely. Invite acceptance into yourself, into your body. To allow things to just be as they are, without looking to change anything. To be accepting of the things you cannot change, you cannot control. Saying to yourself, I accept myself completely as I am. Then inviting forgiveness into the body. Forgive yourself. I forgive myself for anything I have brought into the body, I have done to the body that was not of its highest good, whatever that is, without judgment. Forgive yourself. I forgive myself completely. It's important to acknowledge that it's perfectly fine. Whatever has gone on in the past is forgiven. And inviting love into the body. I love my body as it is. I love its strengths. I love its weaknesses. I love the challenges I have in this body. the struggles. I love this body. The organs, fluids, bones, blood, nerves, the glands. I love the whole body, every cell. And again, just inviting yourself to accept yourself, to forgive yourself, to love yourself. Accept your body, to love your body, forgive your body. Knowing within there is a divine spark that lives within our consciousness, allowing us to connect at any moment, at any time, to our higher self that is omnipresent, omnipotent, always is, always was, and always will be. Inviting those qualities to remain with you throughout the practice. Maybe they need reminding. Remind yourself to accept yourself, accept the body, forgive it, love it when necessary. Find the mind traveling into some negativity or criticism or judgment. Remind yourself to love yourself, to accept yourself, to forgive yourself. When you're ready, you're on time, just bending the knees, place the feet flat on the floor. So we'll do a few simple movements before I ask you to lie over a blanket or a bolster. So just be aware that you might need freedom in your legs and your arms if you're covered with a blanket. So we just take a few moments to bring your attention to your breath. So as you inhale, let the belly expand. As you exhale, let the navel fall gently towards the spine, with the tongue lightly touching against the upper palate. Inhaling, fill the belly, let it expand below the navel, sides of the navel, above the navel. Exhaling, allow the navel to descend, falling gently towards the floor. Continue to take a few rounds, breathing into the belly only. You can add a slight contraction in the tip of the tongue as you inhale against the upper palate. Releasing, relaxing the root of the tongue, the sides of the tongue as you exhale. We're going to add a couple of spinal movements, so most of you are familiar with the somatic movements of the spine. So on an inhalation, as you fill the belly, gently let your lower back arch away from the floor. As you're exhaling, press the lower back into the floor. contracting the abdomen. Slowly, gently inhale, arching the lower back as you fill the belly. Slowly exhale, pressing down through the lumbar until the belly contracts. Continue with this movement at your own rhythm. Inhale, fill the belly, arch the lumbar, away from the floor. Exhale, press the sacrum down, lumbar down, back ribs, kidneys, as you exhale. So you begin to initiate the movement from the sacrum. As you inhale, it mutates or moves into the body. Initiating the movements of the front of the spine towards the belly. As you exhale, take the sacrum first, lead down into the floor, followed by the lumbar, back ribs, kidneys. Following the movement of the sacrum to initiate the arch and the flat. Keeping the tongue in position, keeping the jaw relaxed. Be content just to move in this simple way, to explore the feelings as you move. The arching of the lower back, the opening of the belly, the abdomen. The flattening of the lower back and the contracting of the abdomen. Pay keen attention to the feeling as you move slowly with awareness. Couple more rounds. As you're arching, you might notice the movement is accentuated all the way up between the shoulder blades. As you flatten all the way down into the feet. One of the reasons the sacrum, the sacred bone, is so important, it connects us to the cranium and it connects us to the feet. And this simple movement allows you to experience that. Now we're going to add to this movement. So exhale, press down through the lumbar. Come back to neutral. No arch, no flatten. Be aware of any simple but obvious change in the waist, lower back, maybe a little lighter on the floor, a little more space. As you take the hands behind your back, interlace your fingers at the back of the head, let the elbows relax towards the floor. So same movement of the spine. This time as you flatten, you pick the head and shoulders up and bring the elbows in. So inhale, fill the belly, arching the lumbar. Exhale, pressing the lumbar towards the floor. As you press down, start to lift the head, shoulders up, bringing the elbows towards each other at the top of the movement. Inhaling, releasing down. Elbows separating. Elbows and head come to the floor. Inhale, arch first, fill the belly. Exhale, flatten second. As you flatten, then start to come up as you're pressing the lumbar into the floor. Elbows come in last. Inhale down gently. And exhale, release the arm. Continue a few at your own rhythm. Inhale, arch first. Exhale, flatten to pick up. As you pick up, you feel the abdomen, the chest muscles contract to lift you up. Flex the spine forward. As you inhale to come down, you feel the chest, the abdomen open and lengthen to release you back down. Please move slowly with awareness, no rush. Side of your head, elbows are on the floor, relax. Pause for a moment, be aware of any change in feeling, maybe in the chest, abdomen, lower back. So we'll add one more movement to this, so taking the soles of the feet together, knees apart, so elbows and knees are apart. Same movement to the spine. As you lift up, you bring the elbows in, but you also bring the knees in. So inhale, fill the belly, gently arch the lower back. Exhale, press the lumbar into the floor as you start to lift the head and shoulders. Elbows and knees start to come in together. And they're together at the very top of the movement. Inhale, start to separate the elbows and knees as you come back down slowly. Exhale, elbows and knees wide apart on the floor. Inhale, arching, fill the belly. Exhale, flattening the back as you come up slowly, elbows and knees in together. Inhale down, elbows and knees apart slowly. So just coordinating the movements of the limbs with the spinal movements. Nice and slow. Be aware of the chest, abdomen, and inner thigh muscles. Contracting to bring you up, lengthening to bring you back down. Do one more. Next time you're down on the floor, just slowly let the arms come by your sides, straighten your legs out. Be aware of any change in the groins, the hips, the waist, chest. Before we come on to the bolstered blanket, just keeping your eyes on it. You gotta keep them closed or slightly partially open as we do some basic hip circles. So taking the right leg in towards the torso, take it across the body to the left, add it to the right in a circle, circling. And pay attention to the root of the thigh, so right where the thigh bone starts to meet the hip. See if you can move from there. Pay attention to that feeling in that area as you circle the leg. So that you're moving from the root of the thigh. Change direction. Focusing on the root of the thigh. Tends to be the area we hold the most tension in the leg. Then release that leg down. Just take a moment, compare the top, the root of the thigh on the right leg with the root of the thigh on the left. And with the left leg coming in, focus on the root of the thigh as you take it across the body to the right, out to the left, circling. Keep the foot relaxed, but move from the root of the thigh. Next time you straighten the leg, change direction. So you need to focus on the root of the thigh as you move from there. Next time you straighten the leg out, relax the leg on the floor. And again, just comparing the root of the thigh on the left to the right. See what you notice. Do you feel heavier, lighter, closer to the floor? What's the feeling? Now, we do a little breath work before we come up. So stay warm, so stay covered if you need to. You can stay on the floor if you don't have a blanket or bolster, that's fine. If you have a blanket, you can use a tri-fold. So I'm going to use a tri-fold blanket. If you have a bolster and you want to just roll on top of it, you're going to cross your legs in Sukhasana. So less dominant leg in front. For me, it's my left. Might be right for you. I'm going to let my hands rest just on the side rib cage. Elbows spread on the floor. And taking the tongue back against the upper palate. Slight contraction of the tip of the tongue against the upper palate. So we'll do a Viloma breath, which means we'll compartmentalize from the pelvic floor all the way up to the notch of the throat. So a slight pause in between each area that we're focusing on. So just take a few deep breaths first. Exhale all the way down towards the pelvic floor. Mouth closed, breathing through the nose. Tongue in position. Then you're going to exhale all the way down to the pelvic floor. And then just a short inhale into the lower belly, nowhere else, just the lower belly. Exhale all the way out. So your exhale will be longer than your inhale. Short inhale between the pelvic floor and the lower belly, that's it, below the navel. Exhale fully. Then inhale from the pelvic floor to the navel. And exhale fully. Inhale from the pelvic floor to the navel. Exhale fully. From the pelvic floor to the rib cage, including the navel, where your hands are. Exhaling fully. From the pelvic floor, inhale lower belly, navel, side ribs, and exhale fully. Again, pelvic floor, abdomen, side ribs, and exhale fully. One more like that. All the way into the hands. So when your hands on the side ribs, breathe into the hands at the top of the breath. And exhale fully. Now we're going to add a slight pause as we go through this. So exhale fully. Inhale to the lower belly. Short breath. Hold it. Inhale into the belly. Short breath. Hold it. Finally inhale into the hands, side ribs. Full breath. And then fully, slowly exhale. So you're breathing 3 parts. From the pelvic floor. Inhale, pelvic floor, short breath to the lower belly. Hold it. Lower belly to the abdomen. Hold it. Fill into the side ribs, full breath all the way. Hold it. And then exhaling all the way out. Empty. Third of the breath, nape, pelvic floor, lower belly. Pause. Lower belly, whole belly, including the navel. Pause. Finally into the rib cage, into the hands. Full breath in all the way. Hold it. And then fully exhale slowly. All the way out. Couple more rounds from the pelvic floor to the lower belly. Fill it up. Hold it. Then the upper belly around the navel. Hold it. Into the side ribs finally. Hold it. And then fully, completely exhale all the way to empty. Do a couple more rounds at your own pace. Lower belly first. Hold. Upper belly around the navel. Hold. Then into the side ribs. Hold. And then fully, completely exhale. As you're breathing, as you're inhaling, inhale into the front, the side, and the back of that entire space. So think of it as a 360 breath. Inhale behind the navel, the sides of the navel, back of the navel. Side ribs, front ribs, back ribs. Exhaling completely. Last one by yourself. Lower abdomen, full back, side, front. Upper abdomen, front, side, back. Rib cage, front, side, back ribs. Hold it. Then exhaling fully, completely, all the way to empty. And then we're going to do it with a full breath. So from the pelvic floor, inhale, fill the lower belly, upper belly, side ribs, now all the way up towards the collarbones, the notch of the throat. And then all the way down from the notch of the throat to the pelvic floor. Empty. Inhale, fill the base of the spine, lower belly, upper belly, sacrum region, rib cage, front, side, back, right up into the collarbones, notch of the throat. Pausing. Exhale slowly all the way down to empty. Continue a few more rounds, full breath. From the pelvic floor, fill the whole torso, front, side, back, all the way up to the notch of the throat. And all the way back down again. Three more rounds. Full, complete breath. Three-dimensional breath, front, side, back of the torso, filling up with your breath. All the way to empty. Jaw relaxed, face passive. Be content with whatever volume of breath you can take in without any force. Last one. Full complete breath, pelvic floor, lower abdomen, upper abdomen, side ribs, back ribs, front ribs, all the way up to the collarbones, shoulder blades.
And exhale fully and completely. At the end of the exhale, just take a normal, gentle inhale. Gentle exhale. A few normal breaths. You can let your arms come by your sides. You can place your feet flat on the floor. And you can let your knees come together if you wish. Just let the breath be normal for a moment. Breath's adjusted to being normal again. You can roll slowly off your blanket or bolster just onto your right side. Pause here as you allow the side body to rest on the floor. Let your eyes to open gently. Gentle gaze into the floor. Then pushing yourself up slowly. So we'll work towards standing, but we're going to sit for a moment. So we're going to start with the sitting cross-legged. We'll do a short marble massage of the head and face, and then we'll do those seated warm-ups, so sitting down warm-ups. So palms together, bit of heat. Cupping the hands with the eyes closed, and then as you pat the hands over the eyes, open and close your eyelids. Gentle patting of the hands over the eyes. And you're going to brush over the top of the head, so use your fingers like claws over the top of the head towards the base of the skull. And I'm going to take my thumbs to the temples. Use your index finger knuckle and rub across the eyebrows, so from the inner eyebrow to the outer eyebrow. And then across the eyelid. And then under the eyelid, so under the eye, rubbing from the inside to the outside. Now with my thumb knuckle, I'm going to rub down the center of the forehead. And two fingers, thumb and index, rubbing the inner corners of the eyes. And we take your thumb in the fist, so you use the base of the thumb knuckle against the bridge of the nose, rubbing the sinuses. It's a good thing to do regularly this time of year, keep the sinuses open. They help filter. Good. Now we're going to come to the ear, so like you're rubbing two coins between your fingers at the top. Working down the ear, to the ear lobe, back of the ear, and then pulling on the earlobe. And pull down, so in and down with the fingers on the throat, in and down. And we're going to take our thumbs at the base of the skull, so right where the skull and the neck meet. The fingers are on the top towards the head. And I'm using my thumbs. You don't have to bend your head forward, I'm just doing it so you can see a little better. So the thumbs are right at the base of the skull, and I'm using my thumbs to try to get under the base of the skull a little bit. find a sensitive spot there, just circle and press with the thumbs. You can move outwards towards the ears and back in towards the skull or towards the spine. You can just stay on one spot if you find a sensitive spot. So you're really going to use your thumbs quite strongly. Now, palms over the ears. I'm going to say it first because once I close my you can't hear. And you're going to tap with your fingers on the back of your skull, right? So the palms cover the ears, and then the fingers tap like a drum on the back of the skull. It's called a heavenly drum. And then release. That feels nice, huh? On the head. Alright, so now we'll go through the joints, seated. So if you can take your right ankle across the left knee. And I'm going to hold the big toe and circle. So right ankle over the left knee, circle the ankle, and then change direction. Sometimes it's nice to do the warm-up seated. If you don't have the energy to get up right away, get on your legs. Release, change legs. Hold the big toe, circle. Change in direction. And so sitting back across the leg. You start with your palms up on your thighs, and then we circle, we take the head forward and work with the head to the right. Pause in the center and then change direction. And pause back in the center. Now we do the turtleneck, so chin forward, back and in. And then other direction, so forward, down and in. Crane neck. And you're going to take your palms and place them the other way, so palms down, elbows wide, looking over the left shoulder. Now look up, don't let the other shoulder come forward, keep them level, and then take the gaze back and down, like you want to look into your back pocket on that left side. Lengthen the base of the skull up as the gaze goes down. And then keep the base of the skull lengthening up as you take your eyes only up. Don't move your face, just move your eyes up. And relax your eyes and move across to the other side. Look down, back and down with the eyes, base of the skull lengthening up. Then eyes up, base of the skull still lengthening up. Eyes only up. And then relax your eyes, come back to the center. And we'll do the shoulders. So you're going to lift up, back and down. And you're going to go the other way, forward and down. And you're going to lift the shoulder and drop, lift and drop. Relax. Good. Now we're going to turn from the waist, so arms loose, turn to the right and then the left. You won't get a lot of turn, but a little bit. And release. Good. Now we do the hip. So to do the hip, you have to sit on one heel. So take your right heel in and do your best to sit on it. So take your pelvic floor right on that heel if you can. The other foot can either come to the floor in front of you. It's going to be a bit of a balance because it's for the hip, or you can take it up on top of the thigh. So either on the floor or on the opposite thigh. And then we circle on the heel. So it gives the hip something to turn on when you're sitting on the heel. Then you change direction. Now we do the spine, so you have to move from the head first, so it's chin down and in. Try to oscillate the whole spine as best you can. See if you can feel the movement from the cranium to the sacrum. And pause. Good. Coming off the heel. You're going to bring the feet together. You're going to come up on the feet, separate the knees, bring the arms in front. The heels might lift as they do for me. Just keep your heels and feet together and keeping the knees apart. So Malasana. Stretch the heels down into the floor. Pressing the heels together as the knees move apart. Collarbones broad, releasing the chin forward, the head forward, take the waist back, kidneys back. Long, slow exhalations, twice as long as the inhalation. Jaw relaxed, tongue in position. Couple more. Keep working the heels back and down, waist back. As you lift the gaze forward, bring the knees together, lift your heels forward of your sit bones, knees up high, on the fingertips beside your hips. And you're going to press down into the toe knuckles to lift your hips up slowly. Stress the shin bones. Keep the ankles close together. Then bend your knees again, sit down, so heels forward of the sit bones. Push down from the shin to the toe knuckles to come up. Work the legs straight. Bend the knees and go down again. So you can exhale down, inhale up, or just keep breathing fluidly. Work the shin firmly as you come up. Press down through the toes to come up. You want to work the connection from the shin to the foot. Couple more. One more. Next time you come up, stay up. Work the shin back, hip forward, ankles together. Lowering the heels to the floor, Holding in Uttanasana. Press the shins back. Firm the thighs. Weight of the hips slightly forward over the arches of the feet. Exhaling fully, palms together at the heart. Press down through the legs to come up in it. Exhale, release the arms. So keeping the feet together. Hands on your hips. We're just working with lifting your heels not too high. So literally as you lift your heels, you're right on the bubbling well. You're right on the ball of the foot. So you can play with it. If I go too high with my heels, I come right onto the toe knuckles, which is fine, but I'm no longer on the kidney points. So if I come down onto the ball of the foot, the heels have to drop a little, but they're still off the floor. So just stay there. Now, interlace the fingers, palms up. Just have to check my computer is charging all the time. I want to drop out. Okay, so you're on the bubbling well, heels are up. Now you're going to keep the arms up and you're just going to let your weight drop onto your heels. So it's like a slightly sharp drop, and then come back up onto the ball. And then let your heels drop. So your weight comes right down onto your heels. Good, keep doing that. So inhale up. Stay on the ball of the foot, drop the heels. Feel the vibration through the bones. Inhale up. Exhale, drop. Keep going a few more times. So that heel drop stimulates the, it's called Vulpa. Relates to prana and apana and muscular tension. So you can release tension in the legs, dropping on the heels. Couple more. Stay on the bubbling well as you lift your heels. Stay down now. And now palms up, stretch up, stretch up. Now we're going to bend into the waist. So press down through the right leg, stretch up through the right wrist. As you bend to the left, exhale. Press down through both feet to come up, inhale. Press down through the left leg, up to the left wrist. Keep that consistent as you bend to the right, exhale. Try to keep your arms straight. Press through both legs to come up, inhale. Left side lengthening as you bend into the right side waist, exhale. Press down, inhale. Left side lengthening as you go to the right. Inhale. Let's give the arms a break, exhale. Thank you very much. Relax the shoulders. And interlace again. This time change the cross of the interlace. Other index finger on top. Arms up. Inhale. Now returning to the left. So press your right thigh bone back. Don't let your right thigh bone move forward as you turn your waist to the left. Keep stretching from elbow to wrist. Inhale to the center. Pressing your left thigh bone back to turn to the right. Hip moves a tiny bit, not much. Inhale to the center. Keep stretching out of the ribs. Right thigh bone back as you go to the left. Inhale to the center. One more left thigh bone back as you go to the right. Navel back, front ribs quiet. Inhale into the center. Stretch up, and release.